Welcome back, guys, to an episode of Talking Ball with JR. And this video today is going to be a little bit different. This time, I just want to talk to you guys about the World Cup, how I've been feeling, how much I've been enjoying it, topics that are talked about right now. So let's get into it. But before we get started, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and it's free 99. Now, to be with you guys, I was excited when the World Cup was announced to be in America, right? But then a little bit thought of me like, yo, the European crowd is different, right? The South American crowd is different. I wasn't sure how many people will be able to come and make the trip over to America. You know, how many people that, true fans are going to be able to come to these games. You know, will there be only rich folk that can afford this? You know what I mean? But now, watching the World Cup, watching the atmospheres, watching the Mexico games, watching the Canada games, even the USA games, there's been such a great atmosphere around everything. The Brazilian fans have come out. I've seen a lot of Ecuadorian fans. I've seen a lot of Norwegian fans, Scottish fans. It's been incredible to see the community really, join themselves together with the Europeans, with the South Americans, and have a party. I saw a couple posts about in Boston saying, hey, they missed the Scottish people. Where's the Scottish people at? Where are the people with kilts? And it's funny to me because it becomes core memories, right? When a country takes over, your state or your city, it becomes something memorable and becomes something bigger than football. But the football has also delivered, right? We've had, teams like Cape Verde. We've had teams like Curacao who, unfortunately won't make it to the next round. But Curacao was one of the teams where I saw a lot of Curacao fans, crying the tears of joy of how happy they were just to be even in the World Cup. Haitians, lost to Brazil and they were still partying. They represent themselves incredibly well in the World Cup. And that's what football is all about, right? Football is all about bringing communities that you wouldn't expect together and having a party and having a blast while enjoying the game that you love. And I've honestly really enjoyed this World Cup. I've enjoyed the atmospheres. I've been enjoying the TikToks of seeing Asians be in different states. And now, guys, speaking of the football, seeing Ronaldo, seeing Messi, Neymar coming back, like things like that made me really appreciative of this World Cup because it feels like the last. I was gonna say it feels like the last great World Cup, but why does it feel that way? Now I could be completely wrong. And in the next 4 years, that's the greatest World Cup ever, and then I'll be standing here looking like a hypocrite. But the reality of me is like, dude, we're not gonna have Messi in the next World Cup. We're not gonna have Ronaldo in the next World Cup. We're not gonna have Neymar in the next World Cup. We're not gonna have a lot of these players that we love and enjoy in the next World Cup. What really excites me is the fact that in the next 4 years, a lot of these young players that are here now will be much more mature, obviously, but they could be potentially the best players in the world. You look at Jan Munde, you look at Endrick, you look at Buhari, you look at Gilberto Mora from Mexico. There's so many young talents here in the World Cup as it is. And it's exciting to know, like, yo, one of these guys potentially is the guy we're all going to be talking about next World Cup, right? Obviously, it could be Mbappe, and it will, probably most likely be Mbappe and Haaland that we're most likely to talk about. But who's the next superstar? Obviously, Lamine Yamal is exciting to watch in his first World Cup, but who will be the names that we talk about? Who will be the Messis and the Ronaldos, the Neymars that keep the conversation going for us? The teams that were like, they have to perform. Who are we putting all the pressure on in the next World Cup? Because obviously Mbappe has already won the World Cup. Are people going to put pressure on him to win another one? It's rare as it is to win a World Cup. So then he's already accomplished that. Are we going to put pressure on Haaland to win a World Cup? Are we going to put pressure on guys like Endrick now to win the 6th star for Brazil, depending how this goes? I think the next 4 years is very, very exciting for the world of football because we won't have Messi and Ronaldo anymore. We won't have them to carry the conversation for us anymore. They will be, unfortunately, players of the past for us. They will probably most likely be retired and be done with the game, completely, or do whatever they need to do with their post-career. But honestly, I'm excited for that. I'm excited that, honestly, it's the same way. It's the same with the NBA. I'm a big NBA fan, and LeBron James is retiring. KD will retire soon. Steph Curry will retire soon. And it makes me excited to the next generation, right? The Anthony Edwards, the LaMelo Balls, the Cade Cunninghams, the Jalen Brunsons, the Shays, the Lucas. Like, that's what makes it fun. It's like, who is going to be the next guy? Who are we going to look at and be like, that guy's different? That guy's going to carry football for 20 years. That guy is going to carry the league for 15 years. Like, who are these players that we will be talking to amongst these people where we have to wait 50 years, right? Because For me, I know personally, I know a lot of people want to say like, "Hey, we didn't see him. He was playing a bunch of farmers or whatever." But obviously, Pele was known as the world's best player. Obviously now to me, the greatest player I've ever seen is Lionel Messi, right? And that's not no hate on Ronaldo. I love Ronaldo, but Lionel Messi is the guy that I've grown up watching. Watching him do magical things on the TV, watching him, make comebacks and score beautiful goals. Ronaldo, the same thing. Watching him take these amazing free kicks, scoring outrageous goals, bicycle kicks over. Like it was amazing to watch both of these great, phenomenal talents play at the same time, and especially against each other in the same league. And I think it's going to be very rare to duplicate that. Obviously, if Haaland ends up going to Barcelona, and then that makes it I think that would be absolutely insane, by the way, if Haaland decides to go to Barcelona, because that would be incredible to watch him versus Mbappe go after the league title, go after Champions Leagues against each other, and being in the same league. We would see them face off often. So it's pretty cool to not know, I guess, to have a bunch of theories of who will take over the football world. Is it a player that we're not even talking about yet? It could be somebody who the next year or the following year takes over the whole world, like Lamine Yamal did. But is Lamine Yamal the next guy? At some point people were saying Ansu Fati was the next guy, and now he's playing at Monaco. So it's funny to me that we don't know, and we're not sure what will happen to the world of football once they're gone. So I'm taking this World Cup as a time to appreciate them, right? Like Neymar came in, and I don't think that he's gonna have a phenomenal World Cup, nor do I think he's gonna, be outrageous player. That's crazy to even think of or to even imagine. Now, I wish it does happen the same way that Messi's tearing up, the World Cup right now. I wish that the Neymar comes in and he's doing, rainbow flicks over people again. He's dribbling through 3-4 players again. And that would be amazing to watch. But right now, I enjoyed the 15, 20 minutes that he came in, right? I enjoyed watching Neymar, even if he didn't get that, I think he had like 24 touches. Even when he had that shot and goal, I was standing up. I was standing up, like hoping it went in. And that's what I love about football. The fact that you can go out there and you can just cheer for your favorite players and cheer for these amazing moments to happen, because that's what the World Cup's all about. It's about moments. I was watching a YouTube video about in the 2010 how Diego Forlan became a legend in Uruguay for what he did in the 2010. Now, a lot of people might not even know who Diego Forlan is. Obviously he played at Manchester United, didn't work out, but he's an Atletico Madrid legend. If you think about the Jubilani ball, you think of Diego Forlan, because that man used to do incredible things with that ball. Paul is no Diddy. But that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for who are these players that we're going to look in 5 to 10 years now and be like, wow, they made their stamp in this World Cup. Or like, wow, remember when they went up against Messi, or when they went up against Ronaldo, or when they went up against Neymar? Like, I'm curious to see how this World Cup ends. If you're looking at how the standings are now, the bottom half of the knockouts looks like the easier way to get to. Now, I think Argentina are most likely getting to the final once again. If you look at their bracket, their side doesn't have many strong teams. Obviously, they are strong teams. Let me not disrespect them, but they're really on the outside. You want to avoid France and Spain, right? And you're avoiding both of them because they're going to have to face off each other in the semifinals if they do make it all the way there. So I'm excited. I'm excited if it's opportunities for Messi to go out there and win another World Cup, or if it's Ronaldo's chance to finally win his first World Cup, or even if it's Neymar's chance to win a World Cup and put a 6-star for Brazil. Like, those are incredible stories that could happen. Even England. What if Harry Kane goes out there and absolutely tears up the knockout stage, and then England win the World Cup? And now Harry Kane is the Ballon d'Or, and Harry Kane is on top of the world. It's like a lot of things can happen in the next few weeks. And I'm excited to see what unpredictable. Boys, I cannot say that word. Unpredictable. There he goes. Unpredictable is the word I was trying to say. Not unpredictable. Unpredictable. What this World Cup is, and it's brought amazing time. Like I said, guys, we've talked so much about Cape Verde, but the fact that Cape Verde today can go out there and win a game and potentially be in a knockout stage. Now, guys, I don't even know who any of the Cape Verde players were until the start of this. I think, actually, sorry, I lied. Oh, wait, no, I was gonna say Chong, but Chong's on Curaçao actually, so he's not even on Cape Verde. Let me even look at the squad. I don't think I know a player on this squad before this tournament. And now the fact that they're going to go out there and have a potential chance of making to a round of 32, Like this Cape Verde team, I know it sounds crazy, but this Cape Verde team might go down in history, as one of the first teams to ever make to the round of 16, one of the first teams to potentially even make an upset and win sorry, not around 16, it's around 32 now, but they could potentially even make it to the round of 16. You never know. In knockout stage football, there is no guarantees. There are no like for sure answers. And it's the World Cup. You add that factor in it. You add the pressure. You add the atmosphere of things, and things can change like that. Like we can all be thinking France is amazing, and then France gets knocked out in the first game. Now, I don't think that will happen, but that's what the World Cup can potentially cause. It can cause upsets. I don't think after Germany won the 2014 World Cup, no one thought in 2018 they were going to lose in the group stages. And I was really worried and concerned about, will we have shocking moments? Will we have shock factors of a team not making it, that we all thought would make it? Like I thought Turkey was going to win the whole group, and they ended up last in their group. So it's USA are looking like they are actually a footballing nation now. Like the way the fans have rallied across them and actually thinking like, wow, our team's actually pretty decent. Now I know a lot of people have theories on why USA will do really well this year, but to each his own if you want to believe the conspiracy theories. But it's pretty cool to be in this position to enjoy football, every single day. You turn on the TV, at least because I'm American, you turn on the TV and there's football on from 3 p.m. all the way to midnight at times, or sometimes until 2 o'clock in the morning. And that makes me feel good, because as a football watcher and an advocate football watcher for the most of my life, I didn't have much people to talk about the World Cup, right? It was me and a close niche of friends who enjoyed, football, And now I walk through the grocery store and there's people who I wouldn't imagine talking about the World Cup, but are talking about the World Cup and talking about it in such a positive nature, how much they're loving it, how much they're enjoying the videos that they keep seeing on the internet. And that makes me happy, because I think that potentially this, America is a big, big corporation, if you want to look at that, right? And I think it's unjustly that Americans sometimes look at, football and go, this is a trash sport, or this is a boring sport, because you and I know that this sport delivers in all all the emotions, right? Football can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you scream. Like football can do so much for people, and it brings so many people together. So I'm excited to see what this World Cup will look like towards the end. Who will be standing tall? What other memories will happen? Will there be some beautiful wonder goals that will happen in the knockout stage? Will some upsets happen that we never thought would happen? Like I'm just excited, because I'm gonna name this World Cup the World Cup of the unpredictable, where anything can happen. So boys, enjoy this World Cup, enjoy Ronaldo, enjoy Messi, enjoy Neymar while we can, because I think this is the last World Cup. No, I don't think. This is most definitely their last World Cup. These are our last moments of seeing our heroes and our, childhood, favorite players go out there and play football. And I know I sometimes, I like to troll with the Ronaldo fans about Ronaldo, but in all honesty, it's awesome seeing him out there. It's awesome seeing Messi out there. It's awesome seeing these talented players go out there and give themselves one last chance to go out there and win a championship for their nation. And I can't wait to see whose story will be told at the end of this, and who will be with their head held high at the end of this. And I'm excited, and I'm hoping that Neymar can do it. I'm just saying, from everybody says the prince who didn't become king, and then if they win a 6-star, then what are people going to say about him? That's it for me today, guys. Thank you for coming through and enjoying the rant. I'm just wanting to tell you guys how much I'm enjoying and loving the football and loving the World Cup, feel and atmosphere. So, hey, FIFA, if you want to run this back in another 4 years, I'm okay with that too. Now, can we lower the ticket prices so my ass can get one? I would love to, as much as I'm loving going to the fan fest and going to watch parties. FIFA, if you want to holla at your boy and give yourself, give me a ticket, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the pockets are hurting if I'm gonna go buy a ticket. I think my wife is gonna leave my ass if I go out there and buy a ticket for $3,000 to go watch Brazil. So if y'all want to lower the prices, then it'll be much appreciated. So with that being said, guys, that's it for me today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces. Goodbye. Peace.